Against all advice to the contrary, I recently started playing all of the Final Fantasy games mostly in order. And I say mostly because my only experience with the series prior to this endeavor was Final Fantasy III on the DS. As the black sheep of the series, I was bombarded with negative sentiments towards Final Fantasy II when it came time for me to play it. This is largely due to its unconventional leveling system, in which stats are increased depending on what commands are used in battle. For example, use the attack command with a sword, and your sword stat will increase. Use a particular magical spell, and it will gradually level up. Or, most infamously, get hit in battle, and your HP will increase. In spite of the intense visceral reaction the mere mention of the system causes in a lot of Final Fantasy circles, I actually found myself enjoying Final Fantasy II infinitely more than the first installment. At least as far as the Dawn of Souls versions are concerned. Were I to point out a standout flaw in this game, it would be the design of the maps and how punishing they can be at times. But the leveling system itself is fairly innovative and allows you to tackle battles using a different frame of mind than most Final Fantasy and RPG games would require. And yes, I am going to be defending attacking your own party to level up your health. You see, the logic that I use when engaging in battles in Final Fantasy II is that the player is essentially taking the role of both the enemy and the main party. That's definitely a pretty wild statement to make, so allow me to elaborate a little bit. Enemies in this game are fairly ineffective and pretty flaccid, all things considered. However, this actually works towards the game's benefit. It's no secret that the primary way to level up your health in this game is to actually attack your own party members so that you can get a health boost after the battle. While many would scoff at this on sheer principle alone because of how strange it sounds at first, this is really just how Final Fantasy II kind of guides you into playing around with its leveling system. You see, every time you get into one of these battles, you will undoubtedly be focusing on attacking your own party with the abilities that you want to use the most. And this really makes you focus, like pinpoint focus, on precisely what you want out of your group. In this game, your goal isn't to just finish the battle. You have a tiny goal ebbed within each battle. You have to think about what you want specifically. Do you want to boost their ability to heal? Train one attacker in a particular brand of offensive magic? Boost your evasion? Increase your health? All of these are entirely viable options for every engagement and add depth along with variety. This leads to great replayability as players can experiment with different builds and create their own challenges to play their game in a new way depending on whatever restrictions they would want to inflict upon their party. Do you want to do a primarily bow user run? It's possible. A run where everyone is a pure mage? Also completely possible. Is it easy? No. But is it possible? Yes. As a single player game, I don't believe that any option necessarily needs to be balanced per se. A lack of balance can essentially function as a makeshift difficulty slider that correlates entirely to how the player wishes to engage with the experience. Much like how the Souls series allows a variety of builds with fluctuating levels of effectiveness, yet all allow a player to have a unique experience with each run. Compare this to the original Final Fantasy, which, contrastly, uses a far more rudimentary battle system. For the most part, you'll be simply spamming the A button to get through engagements as quickly as possible, or simply using a spell to wipe out every enemy off the battlefield for the same purpose. While that aspect of the game doesn't necessarily detract entirely from the appeal of the original, it's hard to argue that it's more in-depth or engaging than what Final Fantasy II has to offer. All in all, the hate towards Final Fantasy II's leveling system mainly comes, I feel, from an aversion to that which deviates from the norm. There is a precedent that comes from being part of a series with a traditional leveling system, which can make fans of it feel tepid about engaging with an experience that subverts their expectations. With this bias comes backlash from sects of the community which have not so much as attempted to play the game. Engage with the game on its own terms, and I sincerely think you'll find a lot to like. And that's why I say, give it a shot. Walk into the game with an open mind, and don't let the opinions of other people cloud your judgment. Now, you still might not necessarily like it, because a lot of the game's mechanics aren't for everyone. You might even end up hating it. However, what's most important is that you make an informed decision and don't base your thoughts on the game around the opinions of other people. Do that, and I sincerely believe that the discourse and feelings towards the game will both improve dramatically. That's pretty much all I had to say on the matter. If you have any critiques or ways that I can improve the quality of my videos, be sure to leave them in the comment section below. And thanks very much for listening. I look forward to making more of these and hopefully creating content that a lot of people can enjoy.